Good evening and welcome back to From Day One, episode 42.2. Let's get the audio dropped down. As always, let's hit the mailbag to start. Remember, in the overnight segment, part 3 coming up tonight is the final portion of tonight's Midnight in the Desert episode on superpowers. Oh, yeah, that's the portal charges. Alrighty, we'll grab our energy for this section of the contest. And tonight we will go back to more morons who thought the Earth was flat. Last time we hit this topic, we were with a flat earther who goes by the name of J.M. True. No, we do not have him again. I can say I cannot suffer that many palms to the forehead. But guess what? We have somebody who's probably just as fucking stupid, willing to step up and take his place. Anyway, as always, if we do hear a stupid thing, you will hear a ding, courtesy of my good friend, Mr. Skeptic, who is along for the ride. As always, when we do tackle morons, aka dumb people who think the Earth is flat. So, with that being said, how about we begin right now?
Why is Simon Dan so afraid of science?
The real question is, why is Daniel Pratt scared of soap? A few other things Pratt is scared of are ceiling paint, door trim, and cleaning up after himself. Daniel Pratt, you are a fucking idiot.
You know, I saw Simon Dan doing one of his recent excellent videos where he does absolutely no science, just provides Wikipedia articles, regurgitates them, and thinks he's brilliant.
Well, you might be an idiot flat earther, but at least you recognize the absolute excellencies of Simon Dan's videos. Let's put aside the fact that in Simon Dan's videos, he gives his viewers actual scientific information that everyone can use. And in your videos, you just spew bullshit, bigotry, and lung parts everywhere. And let's ask the audience one question. If your life depended on the scientific knowledge that one of these two guys had researched, would you choose Simon Dan, who's well-groomed, well-spoken, polite, and scientifically knowledgeable, or Daniel Dipshit, who's never used a comb in his life, has limited grasp of the English lexicon, a vitriol attitude towards science in general, and a hatred for showers? Yeah, me too. Simon Dan, all the way. And Daniel Pratt, you're a fucking idiot.
You are a brilliant plagiarist of lies, Dan. Simon Dan. That's all you are. Why would I say such a thing?
I don't know. Maybe because you're a piece of shit idiot who's jealous of Simon Dan's sub count, intelligence level, and quality of presentation amongst many things.
Oh, maybe it's because last October?
You mean the last time you took a shower?
I challenged you to put a drone on a merry-go-round, to then spin that merry-go-round as fast or as slow as you'd like to represent the rotation, the imaginary, supposed rotation of Earth, and to take the drone off straight up from the outer circumference of that merry-go-round and let us watch it follow that merry-go-round in circles, the entire circumference of the merry-go-round.
I had to let him get all of that out before stopping him so that you can fully immerse yourself into the stupidity that is known as Daniel Pratt. And yes, you heard it right. Daniel Pratt thinks that a helicopter hovering over Earth should be able to be represented by a drone flying over the same point on a merry-go-round as it spins. And just because the helicopter can stay hovering over one point with gravity pulling it towards the center of the Earth, the drone should be able to do the same thing. But Daniel Pratt's a fucking idiot, and I'm here to show you why. So let's continue.
Now, as usual, we got a ton of deflection. I got a ton of hit videos.
Do you mean the hundreds of videos that came out from the hundreds of debunkers from around the globe who pointed out just how much of an idiot you really are?
A parody video totally misrepresenting what I was saying, so we'll clarify it again.
There's so many great Daniel Pratt parody videos out there, it's hard to choose just one. But go check out my parody video of Daniel Pratt with all the great debunkers like Greater Sapien, Conspiracy Cats, Red's Rhetoric, Fight the Flat Earth, Godless Engineer, and my fellow companion on Daniel Pratt's hate list, Simon Dan.
Alright, I'd let you get that one promo in. No more, though. Come on, Skeptic.
What is the basis for my postulation?
Because you're an idiot?
The world record.
Hell, I'm surprised he actually knew the word postulation.
Helicopter hover is for over 50 hours once again. So it is the contention of Simon Dan, Twink Skeptic.
Hey,
That's Cream Skeptic, ain't it? One of your characters? Dude?
hey, whoa, get it right. It's Cream Skeptic, you idiot. And don't piss off the Twinkie. I don't think you're ready for his anger cream.
It's like a fucking wild fireman's hose. She's gonna grab on and pray to God.
Hey, we can't get a copyright strike here.
And fuck the flat earth.
Well, Fight the Flat Earth has fucked the Flat Earth into non-existence, so that name actually fits him pretty well.
That helicopter followed the earth over 50,000 miles.
What?
All the way around the circumference of Earth twice, being carried by gravity.
Does anyone else get the feeling that Daniel Pratt's laugh sounds awfully nervous? Kind of like he's feeling the tears of loneliness and despair build up, so he laughs to hide the fact that he's struggling to hold them back. But to answer his stupidity, no. Gravity doesn't carry the helicopter. The atmosphere does that, you idiot. When a helicopter is in flight, there are four forces acting upon it constantly: thrust, drag, lift, and gravity, or weight. If the atmosphere is moving with the helicopter, then there will be no drag. Without drag, there is no need for thrust. So to remain over the same spot on a calm day would require you only to generate enough lift to counter the weight of the helicopter. That's it. So if a helicopter pilot has the stamina and a desire to break a record so bad that he doesn't mind pissing himself, then there would be no problem achieving this feat, even if the Earth were spinning.
And if that is not the most insane, ridiculous, provably bullshit drivel you've ever heard in your life, then you're a subscriber to Simon Dan, Twink Skeptic, or Fuck the Flat Earth.
So basically, if you love science, accept reality as the truth, love to laugh at dumbass flat earthers, and think Daniel Pratt's a fucking idiot, then you're probably subscribed to one or all of our channels, and you should pat yourself on the back.
And yes, those folks are good people to go ahead and subscribe to, so nothing that you have to worry about.
Do you know what they're going to do in response to this video?
Oh, I know what we're going to
As they probably laugh the shit out of you like we're doing here.
do. We're all going to make videos about you, pointing out how stupid you are, and I'm going to make one calling you an idiot so many times that you break the fucking idiot record.
Cut up a bunch of clips
Yup.
to misrepresent what I'm saying.
Nope.
Nope.
Spew a bunch of Wikipedia bullshit.
Also
Just for
no.
the record, no Wikipedia was necessary in the identifying and debunking of this idiot.
And call themselves great scientists and sit back and wait for their fucking idiot followers to send them money.
Now, I know for a fact that Simon Dan plays FIFA for 14 hours a day, and Fight the Flat Earth does male underwear runway modeling in third world countries. so I doubt either one of them have time to be scientists. But at the same time, I haven't ever heard either one of them claim to be a scientist either. Daniel Pratt, just because someone is smarter than you doesn't mean they think they are scientists. It just means that you are a fucking idiot.
All the while accusing people like myself of lying for money when that's exactly what they do. People like Unirock, Twink Skeptic, Fuck the Flat Earth,
Uh-oh.
Simon Dan.
Uh-oh. I have a feeling we're going to get Twinkie Boy, are we?
Yeah, I highly recommend you sub to all of those channels. Unirock, Fight the Flat Earth, Simon Dan, and if you haven't already subbed to my channel, then you too can help fuck the Flat Earth and eliminate the idiots by clicking the subscribe button below.
And here is how you can prove it for yourself. Because Simon Dan is too much of a bitch.
So this is where I'm going to start taking offense to Daniel Pratt. Because Simon Dan is a pretty nice guy. He's polite to Flat Earthers in person and in his content. He certainly doesn't do something as asinine as having a counter that counts how many times he calls people like Pratt a fucking idiot. So call me a bitch all you want, but be nice to Simon Dan. He has no legs. And he's fragile.
Because once he does it, it will prove everything he's ever said regarding the cosmology of Earth is bullshit. And he's a little bitch-ass liar.
First off, the only thing Simon Dan has ever lied about was how bad he beat me in FIFA. So for an idiot to call him a bitch-ass liar is probably not going to affect him as much as you think it will. Especially since it's coming from you, Daniel Pratt, the idiot who stands in one position in his garage so the camera doesn't pick up the sound of his chains on the ground. You, Daniel Pratt, the idiot who has made videos for years under a ceiling that he has yet to finish painting. You, Daniel Pratt, the idiot who still hasn't put up his door trim, probably because his family doesn't let the idiot near the door to get inside of the house in the first place. Or you, Daniel Pratt, the idiot who thinks selling candles that smell like week-old baby diarrhea is going to make him more money than Burger King will. In other words, I don't think it bothers Simon Dan.
It's lying to your face and taking your money and laughing all the way to the bank and thinks he's some sort of Billy Badass for it.
I personally would rather be like Simon Dan, a true Billy Badass, than Daniel Pratt, a bona fide basement bumpkin. Pratt, you are a fucking idiot.
And then there's Twink Skeptic that runs around the internet in a Twinkie costume
Uh-oh. I told you, don't mess with the Twinkie.
and thinks he's some kind of real man.
I warned you not to do it, Pratt, but you did it anyways. Ladies and gentlemen, Cream Skeptic. Oh, so you want to make fun of my Twinkie costume, huh? Well, it's way cooler than that anorexic rhino suit that you wear around all the time. Hey, Daniel Pratt, you know what the difference between you and a donkey is? Not everybody's as smart as a donkey. Now keep in mind, Pratt, the last time you ate a Twinkie, one of my cousins creamed in your mouth. Daniel Pratt, you're a fucking idiot.
And this bitch was gonna sue me.
You really shouldn't brag about being anti-free speech and filing false DMCA claims, as if it is some kind of win for you. And you do realize that I can't win money in court from someone who owns nothing. Again, something I wouldn't be bragging about. Funny thing is, though, you still haven't accepted the invitation to appear on Judge Judy to have your ass handed to you on national television. That's right. Stay in your safe space basement, Pratt, where the world is better off anyways, because you are a fucking idiot.
Okay, people, here is a diagram of a merry-go-round. See, it's very simple. You get the merry-go-round.
Oh my god, he took a notebook piece of paper and drew a circle and made 6 pie slices on it.
Round going. Again, spin it as slow as you want or as fast as you want. The only thing that's going to change is the linear momentum that this drone will fly off in this direction.
No, Pratt, you don't get to do that. If you're going to quote Newton's laws of motion in your kindergarten drawing, then you can't deny them when it proves what you're saying is wrong. Keep that in mind as we move forward.
If it's spinning here and you take off straight up, it will continue following the momentum for however fast this is moving. but it will never continue in angular momentum to continue following the merry-go-round and around and around.
Right, because you have removed its centripetal acceleration. On the rotating Earth, the centripetal force of gravity pulls objects towards its center of mass. When the drone is on the merry-go-round, the spinning surface provides the centripetal acceleration, but when it leaves the surface, there is no longer a centripetal force, and the object will fly off in a straight line based on its conserved linear velocity. For you to properly account for gravity, you would need something like a string attached to the drone and to the center of the merry-go-round to account for the centripetal acceleration. Since it doesn't, your proposed experiment is bogus, and you are an idiot.
So here's my challenge to you, bitch, man, Dan. Bitch, I wish I was a real... You're like the Pinocchio of YouTube.
And you are like the pigpen of Flat Earth. So take a fucking bath, comb your patch of hair, and brush your fucking teeth, man. Because Daniel Pratt, you are a filthy idiot.
So, people, get a merry-go-round. Put your drone on it. Put another object on equal parts around the drone to verify that gravity is still working on that merry-go-round. And that when the drone takes off, it is defying gravity. So gravity cannot carry it in angular momentum to follow all the way around the circumference of this merry-go-round once, let alone twice.
Daniel Pratt, on your merry-go-round experiment, gravity is pulling towards the center of the Earth, not the center of the merry-go-round, you idiot. So your suggested experiment isn't a proper representation of the globe Earth to begin with. First thing, generating lift is not the same thing as defying gravity. It opposes gravity. Only when you generate more lift than weight will the helicopter even get off the ground. And gravity doesn't carry a helicopter while it's hovering. It hovers due to a combination of both conservation of momentum and limited drag forces. When the helicopter first lifted off, it conserved its linear momentum as it entered into the atmosphere. Once in the atmosphere, the atmospheric conditions and the manipulation of the atmosphere determine which direction the helicopter will go in.
The next time one of these fucking globe propagandist morons tries to tell you that helicopter is following the rotation of Earth, and it traveled indeed over 50,000 miles in...
Did you just call it Earth? Like you're a derf? Derfy derf.
Space, right along with the Earth.
I really hate when flat earthers say dumb shit like this. The atmosphere could travel 10 billion miles and it wouldn't make a difference because the Earth and its atmosphere can be considered a single frame of reference. Let me give you an example and show a video to support it. Before we get started, let me warn you that flying a drone inside of a moving vehicle is extremely dangerous. Don't try this at home unless you're proficient in drone operation and functionality. So for our example, think of it like this. You were in a van traveling in a straight line from point A to point B at a constant velocity with a drone in the back. What will happen to the drone if it lifts off and the controls are left untouched? Intuitively, you would think that it would lift off and slowly drift backwards as it met air resistance without the needed thrust to oppose the resistance. But that isn't what happens. The drone will maintain its flight in the same spot in the van because the van and the atmosphere inside the van are all traveling at the same speed and in the same direction. The body of the van and the atmosphere inside of it become a frame of reference for the drone to navigate in. From the drone's perspective, it isn't traveling in any direction or at any speed. Now I know that there are going to be flat earth idiots that claim that it must be something programmed in the drone or that it's cheating because the inside of the van is a contained system. So let me submit for your approval the second part of the video. In this portion of the video, the drone operator flies the drone into a moving van and then lets go of the controls while the van door in the back remains open. And what do you know? Once the drone is in the inside of the van, it begins to hover over the same spot without the operator manipulating the controls. This is because all of the atmosphere inside the van is traveling at the same speed and in the same direction as the van. And that's what carries the drone and keeps it in step. This video comes from a channel called Nonstop Filmer. A link will be in the description.
Cool,
and that's
man.
just the rotational travel. Not to mention the supposed hurtling through the fucking galaxy at 66,000 miles an hour, or along with the galaxy. Ask them to prove it.
Well, I just did, you idiot. According to that drone in the video I showed, how fast is the car going when it's hovering inside? Exactly.
0.
Relative to the drone, the car and the atmosphere inside is traveling at 0 miles per hour, no matter how fast it is going relative to the ground outside. Just as relative to the helicopter, the Earth is going 0 miles per hour, no matter how fast it is traveling through space. Pay attention, Daniel. You could learn a few things today.
They want to act like we don't have little miniature helicopters called drones, that you can't set them on a merry-go-round where gravity is completely present, covering the whole thing.
Like I said before, gravity is pulling to the center of the Earth, but nothing is pulling to the center of the merry-go-round. Without a centripetal force accelerating the drone around the center of the merry-go-round, it should just continue on in a straight line due to its linear momentum. The sad and absolutely hilarious part about all this is that Daniel Pratt actually believes he's onto something. At this point, we need to determine if he is either a willfully ignorant piece of troglodyte shit or
Dang.
just a total fucking idiot.
So if this takes off, gravity should have no problem getting it to follow around just like a helicopter supposedly does with Earth. Well, here's a crazy fucking idea.
Let me guess. You're going to surprise your family and take 2 showers this year.
The Earth is stationary,
No, it's not. You're an idiot.
mostly level,
Except like everywhere, you idiot.
perfectly level everywhere there's water,
And level does not mean flat. You're a fucking idiot.
which is over 70% of Earth.
Oh, fuck. He actually got something right.
Oh my
And
god.
it's stationary. So when a helicopter starts flying and the lift defies gravity, it's no longer under some imaginary power that doesn't exist anyway.
That didn't make any fucking sense at all. When it lifts up, it's not under any imaginary force? I guess what he's talking about is gravity. But if that was the case, then when the helicopter lifted up, it would never come back down, even if it turned off its engines. Remember, he did cite Newton's laws of motion earlier, but keep in mind, he probably has no clue what the laws of motion actually are or how they apply in any situation, because Daniel Pratt is a science-denying idiot.
So there's no fucking way it can follow in angular momentum the rotation of Earth.
Okay, so he is an idiot, because he thinks that gravity is responsible for carrying the helicopter around the Earth as it rotates. But as I've already demonstrated in the video presented, it's the atmosphere around the helicopter or drone that determines the direction it flies in, and gravity is only responsible for pulling it towards the center of the Earth.
For a minute, much less over 50 hours. And all they have to do to prove their bullshit, flat Earth would have ended a long time ago if they would just do the science to prove their bullshit. Just do the science.
Daniel Pratt wouldn't know science if it crapped on his chest at a Greek orgy. Do you really think that drawing childish pictures on paper is science? Do you really think that misrepresenting the model you are attacking is the best way to prove that model wrong? Or are you just too fucking stupid to even understand how stupid you are? I'm picking the latter option, because Daniel Pratt is a fucking idiot.
Oh, I keep forgetting. When you do the science, it proves the globe's bullshit. This is why they're terrified to do it.
Nobody is scared of some dumbass flat earthers. You see, we have an unwritten rule amongst us globers. Just keep those idiots away from important shit and everything will be just fine. I think this is where we're going to end it today.
Oh, we don't have more of this idiot? Come on, he's an idiot. You gotta have more of this idiot. Seriously. gotta have some more of this idiot. Okay, yeah, we'll go with this flat earther. Alright, what happens when you have a flat earther actually run into an astrophysicist? Well, comedy ensues. Just a second here, it's just queuing up. I grab myself a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. Oh, sorry. Some of the leftover Goya pineapple from last night. Once again, not sponsored, but, well, if you want to, Goya, give me a call. And here we go.
So let's begin.
This is going to be a very, very mamma mia, hola, si senor, interesting show. Because we're talking about something that is shocking to me. And it's hard to shock me. Is the earth round or is it flat?
Well, let me stop you right there, Mr. Peterson. It's round. We checked.
Mark, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And what were you doing prior to...
Oh, fuck, we got Mark Sargent again? I thought we banished him to the stupidity world of the ether world.
become a flat... He's a flat earther.
I am. It's true.
Prior to becoming a flat earther, what type of work? You worked in software.
I did. I taught proprietary software for 20 years. And before that, I played video games for a living.
Great. So you're a software engineer with an affinity for video games. Sounds totally qualified to be disputing the scientific foundations of our reality. Now, being a software engineer doesn't preclude you from being smart enough to question the scientific consensus, but it does help to be an expert in the STEM field that you're trying to discredit. And it definitely doesn't help if you're a science-denying flat earth idiot.
And on my left, I have with me Dr. Jeff, and his last name, I would never be able to pronounce it. Dr. Jeff, what's your last name?
Zwerin.
Zwerin.
But I do work at UCLA. I work as a research faculty there. I do research on high-energy astrophysics stuff. I also work at Reasons to Believe, talking about how science and Christianity work together.
Oh, good. Well, thank you for coming, man.
Glad to be
I
here.
told them I'm happy to have both of you here because I have no idea how this flat earth thing came about.
Flat, you're living in a building. No different than this. A giant stage with walls and floor to ceiling.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Do you smoke pot?
Mr. Peterson makes a good point. What hallucinogens are flat earthers taking to make them believe the world is flat? And where can I buy some? Because you must be either high on peyote or a total fucking idiot to believe
that was good.
flat.
I gotta give the boy credit. That was good.
And so, Dr. Jeff, you believe the earth is round.
I do, yes.
And are you 100% sure the earth is round?
To the best I can measure, yes.
I want to stop this video here to point out to flat earthers what intellectual honesty and integrity looks like. When asked if he was 100% sure that the earth is round, he answered truthfully. To the best of his ability to measure it, it appears round enough for him to believe it. Flat earthers hold the intellectually dishonest position that the world cannot possibly be any other shape than absolutely flat, without exception. Mark Sargent will show his lack of intellectual integrity a bit later in this video, but Mark Sargent's an idiot, so let's continue.
But as I've looked through certain key places or places where they say, okay, this is evidence of flat, as I've dug into the details, I find it not so convincing after I've looked at some more of the details.
What's not convincing about it?
Well, I think one of the things that I have yet to hear is, we talk about, being able, whether you can see curvature around, and, if I could refer to, you sent me a video a couple of days ago, and you make a comment in there that you're on Whidbey Island looking over at Seattle, and you
Right.
say, oh, we shouldn't be able to see Seattle because there ought to be hundreds of miles of curvature, or hundreds of feet of curvature. I'll be right there, hundreds of feet of curvature. And so I just sat down and did some calculations, and according to my calculations, that should be about 70, maybe 80 feet or less. And so the fact that you can see Seattle actually fits very comfortably within what I would expect in there.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. All flat Earth evidence fits nice and smoothly inside of our globe Earth predictions. Sight distances, communications, land distances, air traffic travel times, all are used as evidence for the flat Earth and can also be used as evidence to support the fact that the Earth is a globe. But when you flip the tables, there's overwhelming exclusive evidence that supports only one model while eliminating the other. And that model is the heliocentric model.
But I think, to me, the biggest reason why I think the globe is, or why we live on a globe, the Earth is a globe, is that when I look at how things work, I'm an astronomer, so I get to study what's going on in space. I'm also a physicist, so I study how instruments work here. And when we look at gravity, let's just say that, because that's very different in how a young or a flat Earth and a globe Earth could be very different. Yeah. But what I find interesting is that when you go and make measurements in the lab of how does gravity work, it works out a certain way. And when I then apply that to how moons orbit around Jupiter, which we can see them being spherical in nature, and when I look out at distant galaxies and how stars rotate around galaxies, that one formulation of gravity explains all of that data without seams, even here on Earth. And so to me, it's just the most natural thing is if it works everywhere else, why would we expect this to be any different?
Now that's a great point by Dr. Swearing. It's not that we just see gravity working on our own planet, but we can see gravity working everywhere we look, including outside of our own solar system. And the same rules apply here on Earth as they do in regards to the sun and the planets that are in orbit. And those very same rules apply to the motion of the galaxies and how they interact with one another.
And you say?
I'm saying that if we were in a giant planetarium, as it were, you see the same things you're talking about. You see a moon, you see planets, and you see stars. They're just objects in the sky. They're just lights. They're just part of a giant projection system. You can make them do whatever you want.
Mark Sargent, you're a fucking idiot. You are on stage with an actual doctor in the STEM fields, something that every flat earther has said would never happen because scientists are too scared of the flat earth. And this is your response? He gives you a valid explanation as to why we accept gravity as a fundamental fact of reality, and the best you have is to say that those are just lights in the sky like a planetarium? You're such a disingenuous piece of shit. And by the way, you're completely wrong too. This photo right here is one of many photos showing shadows from Jupiter's moon on Jupiter's surface. You can find hundreds of these photos taken by amateur astronomers because today's technology allows normal people like you and I to do this. If Jupiter was a light source, then by definition, you could not cast a shadow on its surface.
And yes, I know you're saying, well, they all look spherical, but we're the only things that's flat. It's like, no, you're in a building and everything you see isn't what you think it is.
Do you have any proof whatsoever that the Earth is a giant soundstage? And who's paying the actors? And who are actors and who aren't? This is just Mark Sargent's narcissistic ego sticking its head out to take a breath. He, like all flat earthers, have a need to feel special, whether it be through special knowledge or by reducing the size of the universe to a really large petri dish with us as its bacteria.
The most public of mainstream science, Neil deGrasse Tyson, even he says, no, we can't tell you what gravity is. We can only tell you what it does. We can only tell you the symptoms of it. And so they say, oh, yeah, it's a force that pulls things down to the center of a globe. And we say, well, it's a force that pulls things down to, a flat surface.
Hold the fucking press. Did Mark Sargent just admit to a force that pulls things to the surface of the Earth? Yeah, Mark, that's called gravity. Are flat earthers finally trying to shrug the idiot nomer by accepting that gravity is a reality? Now that would be a first.
We're shown this when we're 6 years old, and this is the ball, and it's...
That's the Earth around Earth.
Yeah, exactly. Spherical Earth spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, going around the sun at 50, 60,000 miles an hour, and the whole solar system is going sideways at 500,000 miles an hour, and so on and so on.
I can only imagine what Dr. Swearing is thinking as Mark Sargent expresses his bewilderment over such large integers. Dr. Zwerink is an astrophysicist and an astronomer, so 1,000,000 miles an hour is child's play to him. 1,000,000 miles an hour is about half as fast as grass grows on the cosmological scale. But Mark Sargent won't get that, because Mark Sargent's a simpleton idiot.
What's interesting, though, is, and this would be more or less a representation of the flat Earth, a self-contained system roughly the same size. But here's the big difference. This can't exist on its own. It uses a huge support system to survive, meaning you need a sun and a solar system and a galaxy and a universe around it, where this needs nothing.
This has to be one of the dumbest arguments I've ever heard for someone believing in a flat Earth. Mark Sargent says the flat Earth model needs nothing but the enclosure to explain everything, when in fact, the flat Earth requires special rules and explanations for every aspect of its existence. For instance, who built the flat Earth? How was the dome constructed, and what is the dome constructed of? What keeps the Earth in its place? Where are these pillars everybody keeps talking about? Why hasn't anyone ever seen the dome? What's the black liquid over my head at night, and what's the blue liquid over my head during the day? And when they mix, why is it red? Who maintains the dome? Who changes out the light sources when they burn out? Why does the sun have a straight line shadow on the equinoxes? How does the model twist so that it remains in a fixed place, but we still get 2 rotational points in the sky? All these questions and so many more are left unexplained by the flat Earth model that Mark Sargent and all flat Earth idiots are convinced we're trapped on.
This is just, if you look inside it, there's your world. So the question is, why couldn't that be possible?
Well, that's simple enough. It's not possible, because the flat Earth model does not conform with reality and offers absolutely zero predictive power. Here's a challenge to all of you flat Earth idiots out there. Using just your flat Earth model, can you tell me where Halley's Comet is and why we can't see it? Also, can you tell me when we will be able to see it next, and in what part of the sky we will be able to see it come from? While the flat Earth model has no answer for these questions and offers no usable prediction power, all of these questions are quite nicely answered by the heliocentric model of our solar system.
In fact, if it's easier to understand, which is why it's been catching on as fast as it has, if this is easier to understand than this, because this takes huge amounts of math, geometry and trig and calculus and quantum mechanics and everything you specialize in, why wouldn't people be attracted to this?
Simplicity is not a valid excuse for abandoning the more difficult model that more perfectly reflects reality. Yes, the math surrounding the globe Earth model is complicated, but the math surrounding the flat Earth model is flat out wrong. An example of this would be the discrepancies in the size and shape of Australia on a globe Earth model versus a flat Earth model. The globe Earth model matches perfectly to what empirical distance measurements show, while on a flat Earth model, there is simply zero congruency with reality, and yet flat Earthers still believe the Earth is flat. But flat Earthers are idiots.
Well, and it may be, and I'll say straight off the top, I can't prove the Earth is not flat.
Well, that statement definitely got Mark Sargent's attention. But Mark, that is the intellectually honest position to hold on pretty much everything but math. In science, we use our methodology to disprove all other possibilities, to leave us with just one acceptable hypothesis, given our current understanding. Now we have to add the words given our current understanding, because in the future we may have a better understanding. Let me give you an example. Isaac Newton believed that there was a force attracting one mass to another, and then Einstein came through and replaced Newton's gravitational force with his theory of general relativity. And one day we will hopefully have a better understanding of reality, so that we can replace Einstein's theory of general relativity with a newer and more complete theory. But as with Newton, Einstein's theory of general relativity will be replaced when a new theory is put forth and tested that makes all the predictions that general relativity makes, and at least one prediction that it cannot make. As of right now, the flat Earth model and theory make about as many predictions of reality as a map of Disney World.
The biblical model, and I'm on your side in a lot of ways. The Bible is a flat Earth book, in our opinion. There's only one chapter and verse that even comes close, and that's Isaiah 40:22, which says, "He who sitteth upon the circle of the earth." Again, circle's not ball, it's not globe, it's not sphere, it's circle. That's a circle.
You say?
I would say the Bible is largely silent on what the shape of the earth is because, one, most people throughout the history of earth wouldn't know what it was.
Right.
And it's only in fairly recent times that we've been able to do that.
You know, I catch a lot of shit from religitard idiots who claim the Bible depicts the earth as flat. And here comes Dr. Swearing, a self-proclaimed Christian who is actively trying to link God with science, saying the same thing I've said all along. Any and all references to a stationary or flat earth in religious texts can simply be written off as a lack of understanding and technology at the time. If those same people were here today, they would not believe the earth is flat.
You know, I mean, especially when you go back and you look at Neil Armstrong as he's, and the astronauts that are going there, and they're talking about scripture and seeing God's majesty in creation, to then come back and say, oh, I've got to lie about this. That's inconsistent with Christian character.
I agree. But at the same time, look, they're military.
Now this is a bold-faced lie. Out of the 833 astronauts sent to space, 109 of them were non-military civilians. This just goes to show you the lengths that flat earthers will go to just to maintain their fallacious belief system. Now that wouldn't be a problem to me if that's where it stopped, but it doesn't. Flat earthers push these lies as truth in an effort to indoctrinate new members into their cult. Mark Sargent, you and all flat earthers are fucking idiots.
Why would they want to deceive us, though? What would be the purpose of that?
Power, control.
How are they gaining power by deceiving us?
No, retaining power. More, meaning if you built up a civilization, especially since Copernicus, that is, you build a civilization on science. Look, science has been the trendy religion for 500 years.
Oh my goodness. Mark Sargent, you're such an idiot. Science is not a religion because it's not based on blind faith. Science is the process by which we make sense of our reality enough so that we can make accurate predictions of the future. Religion is simply believing that there is a God or an afterlife or a creator that has no physical evidence to back it up. There's a huge difference between religion and science as it stands right now, because everything predictable in science works without the need for a deity. Not to mention that belief in a deity offers no predictable powers. You could be a good, wholesome, God-fearing, and church-going Christian who happens to also be dead broke, and praying to win the lottery won't increase your odds of winning shit, no matter how hard you pray. Now, I don't feel that I am in a position to say whether there is 100% for sure a...
Wait a minute, I'll get right back to you. But wait a minute, I can't pray to win the lotto? Damn, I knew I was doing something wrong. Alright, sorry about that, Skeptic, back to you.
God or no God. However, I do believe that if there is a God, then he plays absolutely no role in our daily lives, and we should treat the world around us as if God doesn't exist.
I mean, to speak to that, at least, I mean, you know, I would agree. There are some people who will be manipulated that way. But you look throughout Christian history, and there are people who are willing to die for what they say. And to find that there are no Christians that work in the space program, and you'll find that the space program was replete with Christians, that there are none of them that are willing to stand up.
You're going to be.
That's hard to. That is just really hard to find.
I know, and trust me when I say I wish, you know, I wish people had more conviction to be the whistleblowers.
Mark Sargent, you are such a disingenuous piece of shit. Rather than consider yourself possibly being wrong, you would rather just blame the conspiracy on a lack of integrity from everyone involved in the space program. The man in front of you is basically pleading to you as a scientist to understand that some people, Christian or not, would not sit by idly and lie about this conspiracy. But in Mark Sargent's mind, there is no possible way that the earth is not flat. So therefore everything must be a lie or conspiracy. Mark Sargent, I hate to be the one to break this to you, bud, but you're not important enough to lie to. In fact, you're a fucking idiot.
I mean, look, I'm lucky I didn't get married or have kids.
No, Mark, the human race is lucky that you didn't get married and have kids. But don't worry, right before Patricia Steer's internal clock runs out, I'm sure she will marry you out of desperation, and you guys can have your own personal idiot clone running around.
This thing was built as a puzzle, as a test for us. Yes, God was involved, and I don't know if we want to
Did God build this?
In my mind, yes, God did
And
build
he
this.
built it so that we wouldn't see it, wouldn't understand it.
Not right away. But
When
eventually,
are we
yes.
supposed to understand it?
Now, as we finally reached a technological level which could be detected.
It's funny that you say that, since all of this modern day technology is actually pointing towards a spherical rotating Earth orbiting the sun. You're an idiot.
What do you do with the science bases that are on the South Pole?
The military science bases?
No,
Those
they're
guys?
not military.
Oh
They're-
my God! Come on, man.
No, I work with people who do high energy gamma ray astronomy or high
They
energy
are
astronomy. there.
everything is authorized by the governments down there, and by that I mean the Antarctic Treaty, which was put in place in 1959, says no private corporation ever, no matter how much money you have, no matter how much clout you have, can set up shop there ever for any reason. In fact, it's not even up for debate until 2041.
So the South Pole Neutrino Observatory
Yes, fine.
measures. So that's on the South Pole.
Well, it's in Antarctica. How about that?
No. The Ice Cube South Pole Neutrino Observatory is about 7/10 of a mile or 1/10 of 1 degree away from the actual South Pole. That's about as close as you're going to get. And the Ice Cube Observatory is a non-military outpost that is run by the National Science Foundation at the University of Wisconsin. But do you think Mark Sargent will ever accept those facts in lieu of giving up his world beliefs? Of course not, because like all flat earthers, the truth about our planet is the last thing they want to hear about unless that truth is confirming that the earth is flat. This is why I stand by my assertion that all flat earthers are fucking idiots.
Let me ask this: how does an eclipse work?
Well, so in the globe model, the eclipses, you got two types of eclipses. One where the more common that most people are familiar with is where the Earth's shadow goes onto the moon. So you got the sun, you got the Earth, you got the moon, and the shadow of the Earth is roughly the same size as the moon, a little bit larger. But so the light from the sun will be, or the light from the sun will be shadowed by the Earth, and you'll get a shadow on the moon. You can also have a solar eclipse where the Earth and the moon and the sun are here, and then the sun, the light is blocked by the moon, and there's a small region on the Earth where the sunlight cannot hit.
So do you agree with him as far as how an eclipse works? Do you agree with that?
No, I don't agree with that, only because it can't be possible, of course, in something like this, because we're talking about a sun that can't be hundreds of thousands of miles wide and a moon that can't be 2,000 miles wide.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. From the horse's ass straight to your nose. It is not about proving our model wrong, but it is all about fitting it into the model they want to believe in. Flat Earth idiots like Mark Sargent are not interested in any truth. They are only interested in proving themselves right, which is the exact opposite of how science works. In science, we develop a hypothesis that others attempt to invalidate. And when all efforts to prove a hypothesis wrong are exhausted, then you know you are on the right track to a new discovery.
It's also just, you just black out part of the sun. It's easy enough.
Wow, you truly are a fucking idiot. Hey Mark, what do you think would happen to the world if you physically blacked out the sun so that it wasn't shining anymore? Do you think the shadow of the eclipse would still be limited to just 70 miles? No, you dumbass, it would block out the sun for everyone on Earth. You don't think your argument's through thoroughly, do you? Okay, so I think this is where we're going to end it today.
Oh, we ran out of him? Alright, Mr. S. If we ran out of him. Alrighty, I will give it to you. Oh, let's see. How are we on time? Oh, we got 10 minutes. I don't think we got another derp that we can fit inside of 10 minutes. Maybe we have an auditor or something we can fit. Let's take a look real quickly. Well, we can do a Karen or two. Yeah, let's do a Karen. As we get our next fight up. Alrighty, Karen lets dog pee on building steps. Here we go.
This dog peeing on these steps, these outdoor concrete steps, is what the woman you are about to see freak out is freaking out about. reporting you to the city, bitch. It's not. Wait, I'm so happy to talk to you. What's your name? I've been filming this whole time.
Oh, she just shoved her.
You don't touch me. Do not touch me. You don't touch me.
Just shoved her again.
Touch me. You get the fuck out of the way.
A third time.
No, that's no. You're a fucking piece of garbage. Thank you. You're a piece of garbage. You are. You know what? The fact that you're so disrespectful to your neighbors. Law. Thank you. Oh yeah, you're not? No. Really? Because I'm calling. I'm not. I'm not breaking any law. I'm not breaking any law. I'm not. I'm Sarah Reynolds. I am Sarah Reynolds. Did you see her pushing it out? I live in apartment 523. You're Sarah Reynolds. I'm Sarah Reynolds. Okay, I'm Sarah Reynolds. I live in apartment 523. Good. Oh, I've heard about you. I'm glad to hear it. Oh, yeah? Oh, okay. Keep recording me. So go ahead and run to the office. Go ahead and run to the office. You know what? No, it's even better. Okay. I'm reporting you to the city. You can. I'm not breaking any law. I'm not breaking any law. Oh, really? You're not breaking any law? Not one law. I'm not breaking any law. This is unacceptable. I'm not breaking any law. She literally attacked me and assaulted me on video. No, you fucking pushed me down. You came right up to me, and I have every right to defend myself. No, it's on video. It's on video. Pushed me down. It is. Fuck you.
We need to go and go separate ways, ladies. You guys need to go outside, but you're not gonna walk. We're gonna go separate ways. I'm sorry. Please go ahead and go separate ways. Can you make her stop? She's been doing this for a year. You know she's been doing this.
She's only lived in the building for 6 months.
You approached all the people with pit bulls, men. I want to know all the times that you attack everybody else who's on because of the steps, and I want to know the state code, the city code. Because of the steps? I want to know the city code. Nobody else is doing this but you. You nasty piece of garbage. Call me more names. Call me more names. You are. Freedom of speech. Call me more names. I love it. Thank you for showing your true character. You know what? Go fuck yourself. Yep, tell me more, please. You're clearly a piece of garbage. Thank you. Thank you. Show me my... any of your neighbors. You have no respect for any of
You're screaming. You're screaming. No.
You are screaming. Why are you screaming? Stop screaming. You and that dog. Clearly she's abused because she has to pee right on the steps. Clearly you don't take her out enough. I take her out 4 times a day. I'm calling animal control on you. You know, you're so silly, but good luck with the city. Since I've broken no laws, good luck. Thank you.
And we got a bonus, Karen, because, well, it's bonus.
Then they should go back to China. Go back to China. This is Canada. English.
Anybody that country coming here. No, you.
If you're going to work here, it is the law to know English. It is the law to know English. You know that. If you look like a businessman, you know that it's the law. So, I'm sorry. It is the law in Canada that if you're going to work here, you need to know the English language or French language. Not one of these people speak English. Yes, they like to buy food. I would like to buy food, but these people not only whether you can help, but these people are going to work here by law, Canadian law. You need to know. No, I wanted to know how much things were so I can order something. Okay, people can help here. The law states you need to know English. If not, go back to China. So I would like to know, how much is it? Can I put together rice and vegetables? Yes. How much is it? I think so it's here, right? So, and each cost, what is each?
Another bonus, Karen, because, well, that one was an idiot. Oh, drive it on grass. Well, this ought to be good. Pit maneuver in the grass. Let's hear this, Karen. Oh, she's in a skimpy red dress, but man, she is fucking screaming. Fortunately, we're not hearing it. She's got her cell phone out. God damn. Oh, damn, she's got her cell phone out like, oh, I've done nothing wrong. Oh, they're on a golf course. The golf cart just drove by.
I don't need any other additional units driving on the golf course.
Ah, she's on a golf course. Oh, jeez. As we get our second to last fight, we got 3 new characters downgraded up the number of tasks they need to have to complete up. To promote up, that is. And remember, stay tuned to us. Be back with us in part 3, of course, later tonight. As we will have, of course, our great Midnight in the Desert part 3. But before we go, one more care this time, attacking a comedian during the show.
Please sit down.
I don't know what do you want me to do? You're not getting this back. You're not getting this back.
Alright, if you don't sit down, we're going to have to escort you out. Please sit down.
She is standing out there screaming and yelling. She just climbed up on stage and shoved him, and now took a punch.
Fucking help him.
And she is swinging and kicking, and she's being dragged out. Big burly guards is basically had to pick her up and carry her. Alright, we got time for one quick bonus, Karen, before we go.
What the fuck are you talking to? I'm working. Yeah, you work here. Are you the manager? Are you the owner? Are you starting running your fucking mouth? Because I asked her that I said we weren't done eating yet. I'm literally working. I don't give a fuck, bitch. You fucking, what do you do here? You're a cook? Back those balls up. Come over here right now. Who owns the place? Who owns the place? We're eating here. All I asked the girl, I said to the girl, I said, we're still eating, we're not done yet. That's all I said. And you started getting cocky and being a smart ass with me. That's not how it went. Yeah, that is how it went. And you just tried to yell at me and tell me to leave. Yeah, it is. Yes, it fucking is.
Hey, Karen, what's the language?
Hey, Karen, what's your language?
Yeah, you're literally ruining. Bitch, why don't you never eat again because you weigh 500 pounds? Like you fucking fat ass. You fucking fat ass. Please, somebody call the police.
I need it.
Do whatever the fuck you want.
Oh! Just threw either a knife or a fork. Patron.
I didn't do it! What are you doing? I didn't do it!
Ah, the cops got her.
What?
Cops got her. One more, Karen? Okay, go for it.
It's about all of this.
In a grocery store.
The bullshit of the community of our nation not disclosing to the Chinese people who are end-to-end with those fucking people who create all of this fucking epidemic who became a pandemic. It's because of you, Chinese people. Fuck you.
Oh, fuck you, ma'am. Granted, I might not ever eat bat soup from Wuhan, but, dude, there's a time and a place, and being racist in a grocery store checkout is definitely not the place.
I'm gonna call my family is one of the best lawyers in Montreal. Who are you?
Of course he's gotta be a French Canadian in Montreal. Note I love my French Canadians, mon chéri. But still, this one, yeah, you guys might want to deport back to the motherland of France.
Hey, leave these poor people alone? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
You guys are fucking bullshit.
Shame on you.
Shame on you. It's been 21 months that we deal with this fucking bullshit. 21 months that we deal with this.
Shame on you.
Yes, and you anti-masking, racist as a Canadian, French Canadian fuck, are part of the problem. wear your mask, get vaccinated, and stop being a racist motherfucker.
You. Shame on you. You are liquor. I guess you liquor. You're a loser, man.
No, these are mine. These are mine.
Those are yours.
Yeah. Only the bottle of wine is hers.
Oh, okay. I was trying to get the answer.
In other words, he's like, please do not ruin my groceries just because she is a racist fuck.
I'm not getting
Yeah. Only the bottle of wine is hers. The rest is ours.
It's easy to go with the population, like, oh, you're loser. It's easy. Loser. Bye, loser. Bye. Loser. And by the way, you're recorded. And if you try to do any harm, I'm a big lawyer myself. Fuck you, loser. Loser!
That's enough. Take your shit and go.
And she just broke her own cell phone by slamming it on the table and hit her. Oh dear God! How fucking stupid can you? She broke her own phone. She broke her own phone. Oh, now the clerk is gonna get her.
Because you're a big lawyer and you're...
What do I don't respect? Come and talk to me. I don't tolerate all of this fucking bullshit I've been lined up forever. This isn't a movie.
She's being escorted out of the grocery store now by employees. Or at least trying to be. Alrighty, with the hour up again, we'll go ahead and call this episode to the lab. Of course, make sure you do like, share, and subscribe. Get us to those goals so Boxy over at Nexters will pay attention. That's 5,000 views, 1,000 subscribers, so YouTube pays attention as well. Won't mention the Coinbase, but it is below, so go ahead and get your free crypto there in CoinBase Earn lessons. Until we meet again for Midnight in the Desert, the last of the superhero line. It's always a great new world to release the Krakens. Have a great night. We'll see you overnight for our trip to the desert.